Hey, what is up, guys? Star Wars Real Talk here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about Star Wars collectibles. But if you're just someone who collects anything in general, you might relate to this. So I wanted to share with you guys some things that I've picked up somewhat recently, and I wanted to share a couple of experiences with you. As a collector, I think we've all probably experienced these things. So when you're using your local buy, sell, trade website, Facebook Marketplace, whatever it is for your area, you can usually find some pretty unique stuff. Stuff that was maybe just in someone's basement for a long time. It's out of the packaging, but it's a good price. Stuff like that. Really unique stuff. And I found something that I bought today that was really cool, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. But when you go to these places, never mind the interactions you have with people trying to set up the purchase, stuff like that. That always can be a little bit of a drag sometimes. Sometimes it goes smoothly. Sometimes it doesn't. But when you have to drive out to these, sometimes you're driving out quite a distance, to buy a little toy or something, right? You sell a little bit of your soul. You sell a little bit of your dignity. You don't necessarily want to tell your coworkers that's what you did with your afternoon. But I want to get to that. But first I want to talk about a more easier common experience, right? I went to my local collectible shop, I guess. When I was a kid, I used to bike there from my house, and it was quite a distance. You only realize, like, when you're driving somewhere, and you're like, this is like 10, 15 minutes. But then you think back to when you're a kid, and it's like, it takes half an hour, hour and a half. Like, doesn't matter. You have somewhere you want to go. You have a bike. That's how you get there, right? So I used to bike these crazy distances to get to this place. And I hadn't been there in years. Not since, I think, my early years of university. My bus route was along there, and I hopped off my bus one time, and I overpaid on a figurine I probably shouldn't have bought. But I'm glad I have now. Anyway, I went to this store because I was driving down the street, and they had painted the outside of their building. There was a big Darth Vader painting on it and some other Star Wars stuff. And I was like, oh, you know what? This place used to be cool. It kind of charged my nostalgia a little bit. I'm like, I'm going to go visit. So I went in the store, and it was much larger than it used to be. It had expanded quite a bit. And they had this dedicated room for collectibles. Half the room was probably Star Wars stuff. And they had this big bin full of figurines and stuff like that, still in the packaging. So I had a really fun time. I spent a while looking around the store. I had the afternoon off, so I took my time. Everything was pretty reasonably priced, but, it's a business, so it might be a few dollars more than if you were to go to someone's house. I'm going to show you guys what I picked up from that bin that I was talking about. So, I don't know if I've talked about it on this channel, but I try to collect as many different Darth Vaders as possible. So I have one right here, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi below it. I have one that came out for Rogue One over here, you can't see it. I've just got some other random Darth Vaders I found. So I found one, I think this was A New Hope, this one. I didn't take the price tag off yet. But it was in the first edition of, I think, those Star Wars, where Luke looks more like He-Man, Like, I'm not saying it was the first line of Star Wars toys, but it was very early on. Let's see if there was a year on this. Whatever. From the same line, Boba Fett. I didn't have a cool Boba Fett figurine, so I kind of, bit of an impulse. I'm not collecting Boba Fett's, but it was too cool not to, right? Those early Boba Fett toys are so cool. Another thing I got was, say what you will about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I think that the interaction that Vader / Anakin had with Obi-Wan at the end almost made the whole show worth it. So I got the Darth Vader from that, the battle damage. You can see his eyes. That's, I guess, a bit of a better shot. It was a little bit more expensive because it was a Black Series. I never bought a Black Series before. It's pretty cool. And I got this, like a Darth Vader related comic. So that's a very smooth process. You go into the store, you mind your own business, you browse, you buy what you like. No one's judging you because everyone there is a big nerd like you are. And then there's the other side of collecting. That's not as smooth, right? You save a few bucks sometimes, but you make up for it with gas, whatever. Buying locally from people. This has happened to me now a few times, I don't know, where I have gone up to buy a toy. And, you know, it's a Star Wars collectible, but it's a toy. It was marketed to children. What entices me about some of these things is that a lot of these toys were toys that came out when I was a kid, right? From the prequels. And that charges my nostalgia. And I'm like, when I was a kid, this toy would have been on the shelves. And that makes me want to buy it because I don't know if it connects to my childlike sense of wonder, of excitement. It pulls me back to my love of Star Wars from that time. I don't know. But I made a video. I'm not going to talk about it now, but of this Anakin Skywalker figurine. It's this big thing, right? It's very cool. I think the video is called the Allure of Order 66 Anakin or something like that. So you can go watch it if you want to hear me talk about that. But I had a very similar experience of that today, where I went to buy this figurine that I saw a picture of, and I just thought it was so cool because it's very unique. It felt like it had some rarity to it. Like when I saw it, it was one of those things where I'm like, I have to have this. They were asking $15. I asked if they were fine with 10 because it was quite a drive for me, and they were fine with that. The picture made it look a lot larger than it was. But so I show up to this person's house, and I'm like, okay, I'm here a little early. Whatever. She comes out to meet me, and it's very clearly someone's mom, right? Someone who probably didn't really know or care that much, knew it was Star Wars. Maybe she knew she could make a few bucks off it. I don't know. But this is earlier with that other video I was talking about. It was a mom again selling me a toy that maybe there's like a little kid like holding their leg or something. And I'm like, okay, even if this is a kid's toy, this would have come out before this kid was born. Okay, so I don't feel bad. This kid doesn't know the value. This kid doesn't care about the fucking Anakin Skywalker, you know, whatever. So this is the toy that she this little thing, it's so tiny. But it's Anakin from the Clone Wars cartoon with like the ritual tribal tattoos, whatever. You can see in the video. See if I can get it to focus on it. The robotic arm without like a casing on it, or like a glove or anything like that. It's bendable, movable, whatever. It's very cool. It's very unique, and it's like from that cartoon, right? That's where I know the tattoos are from anyway, where he goes through this weird ritual. But it's like Revenge of the Sith Anakin, right? It looks like Revenge of the Sith style. It doesn't look like a cartoon style. So it was very cool. So yeah, I saw this. I knew I had to have it. But that moment where you're walking up the walkway to someone's house and someone's mom comes out to sell you like one of their kids' toys, it's like, oh, I'm a 31-year-old man. I walk up 6'1" with a beard, and I'm like, can I have this toy, please? So, you know, little degree of shame there, but I feel like that's how it goes. I don't understand how these parents are selling these things. Like, they're very obvious parent. You can see kids' toys in the windows of their house, whatever. And they pull up these like vintage and retro Star Wars toys. So were these toys from the parents that they saved for the kids? Like, I don't. There's dots that aren't connecting. I don't understand. You know. And then after that, because I scheduled 2 pickups because they were like 10 minutes away from each other. This is like the ideal scenario. If you're a collector, this is what you want to see. So I get to this guy's house, and I walk up, and, you know, he's at the door. He's ready to go. Very friendly guy. He's like a man in his, I don't know, 50s, early 60s. I don't know. And he hands me this, right? So it is obviously the fight scene from Return of the Jedi with Luke and Vader and Palpatine in his cuck chair. But this guy was like, first of all, it's an OT toy, right? Or OT figurines, whatever. So you know that this guy, I'm making assumptions, but I can assume that this guy bought this toy when he was younger, into Star Wars, when the OT was coming out. I don't know. The OT toys are very fascinating to me because at this point they're pretty old. And the people that have them probably were in love and saw the movies in theaters. It's very cool. It feels like I get to be a part of that time when, you know, they pass the torch to me, they transfer the rights of their collectibles to me. It feels a little bit special when I have an interaction like this. Again, I'm making assumptions, but when I have bought off people's moms, they kind of hand me the toy. They're like, here you go, here's your thing. Where's my money, you know? But this guy, he had all the things in the bag, all these pieces, right? And then he's talking about them. He's like, all the pieces are here. You got this guy, this, blah, 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 blah. He's like talking about it a little bit before he gave it to me. It's like, you could tell he actually cared about it. And it's so cool that I could have that connection, this small little connection with this display and this figurine. Two different eras of Star Wars, right? Very two different transactions, right? One was this, you know, this is more important to me than the person who sold it to me, right? This is closer to my heart with the prequels, the things that made me fall in love with Star Wars, you know, because they were coming out as I was growing up. And then there's something like this that was coming out maybe more when the person who's selling it came out, something that they cared about enough to keep it in good shape. This little display, you know, could have been on a shelf in a bedroom or a man cave or something like that. I paid $10 for this. I paid $10 for this. Very different experiences. You know, I buy this for $10 and it's like, yeah, it's a little figurine. Figurines are expensive. I buy this for $10 and it just felt like this guy, I don't know. It's like he did me a service almost. So that's it for my emotional connection and stories. I wanted to point something kind of funny about this OT display. This Luke Skywalker has like a blue lightsaber for some reason. Look how long this lightsaber is. Why is it blue? You know? It's very weird. The models look very good though. They don't look like cheap trash toys. Yeah, and in relation to Vader's saber, look at the look at the, and it's not like this one broke. I can see the rounded tips. So I don't know what the heck. The Vader looks very good. He's got like flowing robes, which look very cool. All my Vaders are like in cases, so it's nice to have one that's just actually out. Look at how jacked this guy is. Look at his biceps. Look at those freaking biceps, man. Crazy. So, I mean, yeah, I look underneath it, and it's a Kenner toy. So, I don't know. Yeah, Kenner. So anyway, that's all I want to say. Thank you guys for watching. If any of you stuck around to the end, I know my channel has been kind of it's been nerfed by the YouTube gods. You know, I don't pull in the views. I don't have the reach. I don't think my videos show up on people's feeds anymore. I think I've been kind of blacklisted for using Star Wars media too much. The copywriting has just kind of burned my channel to the ground. They didn't want to monetize me, so for the few of you, because this video will probably pull under 10 views at this point, the few of you that do watch, that do get it in your feed or seek it out, I just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys. And there's been many times I've wanted to give up on this channel, but I haven't, because I am very passionate about it. I love to talk about it, and I know there's always going to be at least a couple handfuls of people that tune in. So I appreciate you guys. Yeah, thanks for watching. May the force be with you.